Welcome to this training. My name is Amanda. I am a consciousness guide and healing practitioner. And today we're going over the 4 mindset mistakes that stop you from moving forward and what you can actually do instead. If you don't know where to get started with mindset work, then this is the perfect place to be. By the end of this training, you'll walk away with the knowing of how to actually shift your mindset in a way that is quick and lasting. This webinar isn't going to be filled with fluff. I will give you stuff right away. I'll share what works, what doesn't, and show you what you can do instead. This is all based on my 6 years of training and experience in the field. You are in the right place if you have no idea where to start or what direction to go, but you want to move forward with your mindset. You want to learn the things that actually work and create real, tangible, lasting shifts. This is what my students who take action start to experience. My client Jenny, business owner, would always take on more than she could handle. It would cause her to be busy, feel stressed, and working later than planned. After working on her mindset, she started to tell her staff no. She would let them know she was at capacity and request that she sent the work elsewhere. Within just weeks, they actually stopped asking her to do the small stuff. She got her time and energy back to focus on growing her business rather than working in it. Now, 3 important things to take note. Everything that I'm going to share with you today is based on 6 years of training, working with my own mind, and helping countless others do the same. These tools work regardless of the problem or the obstacle because they follow universal principles of neuroplasticity, science, of energy, and of creation, consciousness. Okay? Finally, you don't need previous practice or skills. Anyone can learn how to do this. Now, if you want to move forward, your mindset is essential because how you think is what determines what is possible for you. Your mindset dictates the choices you make, the risks you take, the actions you take. This dictates what's possible. Can you think of one successful person that hasn't consciously worked on their mindset? Probably not, because they know that changing how you think is the best way to change the world around you. Gandhi said this. He said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And another quote here, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Even if you don't have a lot of time, even if your schedule looks like this, you're still in the right place. You're going to get plenty of value from this training because it's not built on adding more. It's about making small shifts and taking away things that actually save you time. And you don't really need hours to change your mindset. You just need a few tweaks to what you're currently doing and a simple framework to follow. You may be thinking, can't I just hire someone to help me with this? And of course you can. Sure, it's a great option if you like having one-to-one support. Sessions are somewhere around 200 or more a session. And if you want mindset change without having to pay for breakthroughs or rely on someone else's time and schedule, then you'll want the skill to shift your own mindset at any time. Okay? Learning to do it yourself saves you time and money in the long run. Plus, no one ever said that learning to shift my mindset was the biggest waste of time. If you're in a position where you feel like you're meant to be doing something other than you are, but you have no clue what that is, then chances are you can relate. Back in 2018, just before COVID hit, I was working a corporate job. I was desperately trying to start a side hustle that could eventually replace my job. I tried a digital magazine, copywriting services. I built an online crystal shop and started importing crystals. I knew that the 9-to-5 city corporate life was not for me. I was frustrated and bored in my role, and I knew that I was meant to be doing more, but I didn't have any clue what that looked like. My intuition was strong. It was nudging me towards this purpose, this more feeling, and far away from my corporate job. I just needed to figure out which way to go. So I started researching. I started reading what to do next. A Joe Dispenza book, this one here, it convinced me that it wasn't a career path that would set me free. It was my own mind. And that by changing my own perspective, it would change my reality. It was an interesting thought, and one I hadn't yet considered. So I started looking into it. I looked around, but I did find that a lot of options were very ungrounded, very woo, very spiritual. And I couldn't see how talking to angels would help me. I just wanted practical steps and pathways to follow. In a synchronistic twist of events, my Brazilian crystal wholesaler I was working with at the time, he told me about theta healing. I didn't even ask, I didn't even mention my search. and he told me that he had used this modality to heal himself of illness. I was super skeptical at first. It seemed big, it seemed far-fetched. But when I looked into it, I knew that I had to give it a go. I had to do something different. And so in 2020, when I attended my first seminar, we got to the bottom of an issue I had been having and actually released it. I remember crying in relief and noticing that things started to shift quite dramatically. I didn't feel the same. I didn't think the same. I didn't even see things the same. My worldview started to change pretty much straight away, and I was shocked that it was so quick, almost easy with the right tools. And after this moment, and 6 years of practicing this work day in, day out, the biggest thing that I walked away with that I can say without a shadow of a doubt is that rewiring your subconscious mind is the fastest way to change how you think. Because how else can you change your mindset if you're not accessing the depth of where the thoughts actually come from? Right? The conscious mind is only 10% of the mind. The subconscious is 90%. And I realized that this is why a lot of mindset techniques like affirmations don't work, or why you have to keep going back in talk therapy, is because they're not going deep enough. They're not getting into that 90% of the subconscious mind that's actually running 90% of the brain. Okay, and this is what I do today. I teach people how to create shifts in their mind so that they can create big shifts in their behavior and results. For me, when I started training in 2020, I never thought that I would be in the mindset I am today. I used to be super shy. Yet with this work, I overcame my fears of public speaking. I got on stage, I hosted events, and I posted content online. All because I learned how to rewire my subconscious mind. And when my students start to do this too, things really start to change. Take Linda, mum, anaesthetist. She used to tolerate friendships where the effort wasn't really reciprocated. There was a specific time where her friend had ghosted her for 3 months and then reached out to catch up like nothing had happened. She came to me saying she didn't know what to do. She liked the friend, but also wanted to draw a line. We worked on her mindset to help her get clear on what she was willing to tolerate. The very next day, she said no to the catch-up and very likely bye to the friendship because she chose to respect herself instead. My client Laura was working a job that she hated. She was doing tech work in a male-dominated industry. It was feeling very soulless, repetitive, and draining, yet she couldn't bring herself to leave because she didn't know what to do instead. After rewiring her subconscious, she mustered up the courage to leave and figure things out without even having a real plan. 3 months later, and now she is studying massage at TAFE, and she loves it. My client Holly, she decided to quit her job 2 weeks before starting a new one. She gave her boss 1 week of notice in line with her contract, and he pushed her into giving 2 weeks instead. This left her with no break between roles. After addressing her subconscious mind, specifically her pattern of pleasing others, she let her boss know she was amending her end date. She was going back to that original 1 week, and then she took that week off to spend with her family as planned. And these results aren't because I'm a great healer, they're because my process works. I have plenty of 5-star Google reviews that show that subconscious rewiring is giving people the biggest shifts in short periods of time, that it changes the way that they think and react, that they have their own ability to change that they feel more clear-headed and confident, and they have some external changes as well, improved relationships and business growth. So let's get into it. These are the 4 biggest mindset mistakes that keep you from moving forward. This is essentially why working on yourself isn't working and what to do instead that will actually create change. The first mistake, and this is a big one that I see in people who want to work on themselves, is that they focus on self-awareness only. They seek to understand themselves, to analyze their thoughts, patterns, and behaviors so that they know why they do things. But despite how many aha moments they have, how many realizations, nothing really changes. Think about it. How often do you know exactly what to do, but you still don't do it? Right? Because knowing doesn't change you. Mindset change is actually less about what you know and more about what you do with that information. Awareness is a great start. And then that information needs to act as a bridge so that you can go from A to B and actually solidify a new way of thinking, feeling, and seeing. Most people stop at awareness because they think it's the entire picture, but it's only step 2 out of 4. This is also why things like meditation and journaling and talk therapy on their own, they feel good, but they don't always create change. It's because they are missing steps. So what are the steps? What's actually needed to rewire the mind? This is a 4-step framework. The first step is 1, getting into the right state, actually accessing the subconscious mind, because you can't change your mind or access your deeper thoughts when you're in your everyday way of operating, your beta brainwave state. So it's getting into the right place. Then, and this is the awareness piece, it's identifying and finding what to actually change. Most people are really good at this. They can figure out where a pattern started. And then the next step is actually changing it. It's shifting your thoughts, views, and feelings to then create a new way of thinking, feeling, and seeing, right? And step 4 is then solidifying. That new mindset is choosing and moving forward with it. Most people miss a lot of these steps and wonder why their mindset work isn't actually moving them forward. Now, you may believe that mindset work is hard or complicated, and I totally get that, because without having clear steps on what to do next, it can feel like you're swimming in a sea of information. Consciousness is a bit like that. If you're meditating, it can feel very vast. This is like trying to get somewhere new without a GPS or a map. It's easy to get lost on the way. And this is why in the Mind Medicine map, I walk you through this 4-step process, step by step, with maps, signs, and frameworks so that you know what to do in order to create real, repeatable change in your subconscious mind without getting lost or confused on the way. So is it that mindset work is complicated, or have you just been missing steps to create change? The second mistake is that you are looking for the most transformation, the biggest transformation, the best. I get it. You want to make the right choice. So you look for the best or the right thing to move forward with. The thing that'll change everything, that one shift where things finally click into place. That's like trying to change your whole life tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and nothing actually changes. Because when you glorify that one thing, that one change, transformation, or technique, you stall. Because you're in waiting and decision mode. You're not actually moving. So you delay another day and push off the real work and then wonder why you're not making progress. Think about it. When have you ever seen anyone change so drastically overnight? It doesn't really happen because change is gradual. Sort of like the butterfly has to go through a cocoon period to become the butterfly. Okay, real transformation happens in micro shifts and changes. It happens because 1% better every day adds up to create change. Okay, and these small regular steps are how you become someone new. And yes, there are a lot of options. Okay, there's a lot out there, there's a lot of noise, but you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start with something that works. You need a process, a formula, or something that you can repeat again and again to create micro shifts in your consciousness that compound to create transformation. This is why, if you choose to learn from me, I provide you tools you can use daily that create change for you while you learn to do it yourself. So you can just keep moving. In fact, I do have a tool that you can have right now to help you do this, to help you take baby steps to change. That is available on my website. If you go to www.amandaann.com.au/mindset, you can grab that one for free now. You may be wondering, how long would it even take me to learn all of this? And it's fair. People think it'll take a long time because learning new skills often can. So of course it's worth considering. However, it's only true that mindset work takes a long time when you're trying to change everything at once. When you start to focus on small wins, it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. And then 10 to 20 minutes a day is enough to start changing how you think. If you have 20 minutes a day to scroll, then you have time to work on your mindset and learn to do it yourself. The next mistake, and this is a big one, is that you go to the gym for your mental health. You eat well because you feel better for it. But despite doing all the healthy things, your life and mind still stay the same. Einstein said that no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So with exercise, with food, with healthy habits, you're focusing on your physical health to fix a mental problem. They manage your mood, but they don't change who you are. Think about it. No matter how great you might feel after gym, it's often temporary. You still go back to that same mindset, that same wavelength, causing you to want to go to the gym again to manage a bad mood. If you want to feel different permanently, then you need to actively work on your mindset rather than doing things for it. This looks like taking time to identify the thought and shift it. It could take you minutes with the right framework, you would feel better immediately, and it would stay that way. And this is why in the Mind Medicine map, I teach practical ways to change your mind on demand. So you're not just hoping to feel better, but you're actively making it happen. Now, I get it. Maybe there is a part of you that isn't ready to confront this stuff. And it can feel confronting, especially if you've never done it before. But how do you expect to shift your mind without confronting it at all? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. And so you have to make a choice. You either face it and change, or you stay comfortable and avoid it and stay the same. The final mistake here is that you try to force yourself to change. You try to change your habits, and maybe you start strong for a few days and then fall right back into the same old pattern, right? Your habits aren't sticking. This is because you're trying to change your behavior without changing the thoughts that drive it. You're using your willpower, which is only the 10% of the conscious mind, instead of using your subconscious, the 90%. How many times have you tried to change only to fall back into the same habit? It's like pushing a boulder uphill for 60 days. It feels hard, it feels frustrating, it's tiring, and it's slow. Now, I say 60 days because that is the average amount of time it takes to create and land a new habit as a new way of being. But change doesn't have to be this hard, and it doesn't have to be this slow. Because when you shift your thoughts first, your behavior naturally follows. You don't need to force, push, effort, or try. You need to shift the beliefs that cause the behavior and then simply allow the behavior to change, right? Changing yourself and working with your subconscious, doing that first is kind of like starting to push that boulder on flat ground. You push for a little while and it starts to get its own momentum and rolls on its own, okay? This is why I teach you how to change your mind first, so that you can create new habits easier, faster, and in a way that actually sticks. Here's how this works. Ben, my client, had years of no contact with his parents. He told me that they were immature, they weren't able to see his perspective, and he didn't think things would ever resolve. We worked on his subconscious about what happened in the past and forgiving the falling out. Within weeks, he was able to have a conversation with them about how he felt. He actually made up with them, but now has a great relationship with his parents, and they're supporting him as he moves forward. My client Thomas was in a cycle of attracting unavailable women with hot and cold behavior. He wouldn't speak up and then would get treated poorly for months before it would end. So we rewired what he thought he deserved and how he felt about speaking up. And now, as he dates, he knows his boundaries and he communicates them. Instead of wasting months on an unavailable woman, he sees it straight away and ends things before getting too involved, saving him time, energy, and peace of mind. How do you even access the subconscious? It can feel like a faraway thing because, yes, subconscious thoughts aren't always front of mind. So, of course, it feels hard. The truth is you already do it. Every night as you fall asleep, you go through a theta brainwave state. This is where those deeper thoughts become accessible. The difference then is learning how to access this place on purpose. With techniques like meditation, visualization, and a little bit of practice, eventually it becomes second nature. Eventually you can breathe your way into a theta brainwave state. And once you're in the right state, not only do you become aware of your subconscious thoughts, but you can actually start to change them. And this is why inside my process, I guide you through this step by step so that you can get it straight away rather than waste time trying to figure it out for yourself. And perhaps you've tried to meditate and decided it doesn't work for you, right? You've sat there and you've waited for your mind to quiet and it just never did. I hear this all the time, and that's what my client Jenny said too. She thought meditation meant sitting in silence, trying to stop her thoughts, which is frustrating for anyone. Instead, I gave her a structure to follow. I guided her through exactly what to focus on. Now she doesn't have to fight her mind anymore because she knows how to put herself into a state where her thoughts naturally settle. Okay, question time. Now that you know moving forward isn't about being more aware or forcing change, it's about creating small shifts in your thinking that compound into real change. And when you see it this way, you start to realize what's actually possible, how different things could be, what might change if this finally clicked. At the same time, you may be wondering, have I been approaching this all wrong? What else have I been missing? And I get it. Changing your mindset can feel confusing to know when to even start. But you now know that rewiring your subconscious is essential. So the real question becomes, how do you actually do it? How do you do it the right way? Because mindset change isn't guesswork, it's a process. And every single change follows the same 4 steps. You miss one and you miss the change. It's easier than you think. I've had many people successfully change their beliefs on their own just after 2 weeks of doing this work. Having a process to rewire your subconscious, it gives you, 1, the ability to create real change quickly in as little as 10 minutes a day, plus it saves you a ton of time because you no longer have to wait 60 days to stick a new habit. It gives you the power to shift your thoughts, moods, and frequency on demand. It gives you momentum in your life, in relationships and career, because you're actually starting to see things differently. It gives you your time back because you're no longer circling the same problems over and over. And it gives you a way to reliably work with the 90% of your mind that runs your life, decisions, and behavior. And if that's what you're finally ready to experience, I'm here and waiting to help you do that on the other side. Introducing the Mind Medicine Map. This is a complete step-by-step framework-driven system for creating fast and permanent mindset change, or your money back. It's a repeatable 4-step system to change how you think so that change happens fast and sticks. There are 20 step-by-step tools, maps, and frameworks so that you always know what to do next. There are state-shifting meditations so you can access and rewire your subconscious mind on demand. There's also done-for-you subconscious rewiring sessions so that you can start changing now while you learn how to do it yourself. And if you're like most going through this training, you may be thinking, well, I don't have experience doing this. It'll take me ages. And that makes sense. But you don't have to be a chef to follow a recipe. It's only when you don't have a proven process that you're forced to figure it out on your own. And that's what takes time. With the right process, you know exactly where to focus to create the most amount of growth in the least amount of time. And that's exactly what the Mind Medicine Map does. It shows you exactly what to do, step by step, to create real, visible mindset change. In just 10 to 20 minutes a day, you follow a clear path that shows you what to focus on, in what order, so that you can finally start shifting how you think, feel, see, and respond. So let me show you what this looks like. This is the 4-step framework to rewiring your mind, and this is how the course is structured because you don't need more information, you need the ability to actually use it. So first, module 1 is all about opening the brain to change. It's slowing down your brainwave state so you can access your subconscious mind and create instant shifts on demand. Module 2 is all about finding the golden nuggets, getting to the cause of an issue. Because why waste your time with surface level when you have an opportunity to create deeper change? Module 3 is about neutralizing the charge. It's using your insights as a bridge to create a new mindset. In here, there are done for you and DIY frameworks that you can use yourself to change how you think and feel. Finally, module 4 is about choosing what's true. It's about solidifying your new mindset and moving forward with a new way of thinking, feeling, and seeing. This isn't about waiting for change. It's about creating it. Because when you change first, your environment has no choice but to catch up. This means you stop wondering what to do, you stop circling the same problems, and you actually move forward. Because you know that you are the change, and you have a way to change your mind on demand for life. I've invested thousands of dollars, 6+ years, and countless hours learning and refining this to a simple 4-step framework. So you don't have to guess or waste your time with trial and error. And now you can get everything that you need to get started rewiring your mind without the big price tag. The Mind Medicine Map is a $477 investment. At that price, it's a no-brainer because if you implemented just a few of these tools and frameworks, you wouldn't need to rely on a therapist or practitioner again. But here's the best part. I've taken all the risk out of investing. You can actually test drive the program for 30 days. And if you're not satisfied for any reason, if you don't feel like it was the best investment you made in your mindset, then you can just email me and request a full refund. I'll gladly refund it with no questions asked. Because there is a slight learning curve, I've made this easier for you. Because you don't want to spend days or weeks trying to figure this out before you see change. You want to start moving now. So I'm including the Karma Clearer. This is the ultimate change tool. It's a complete done-for-you subconscious rewiring session to mimic the power of a one-to-one. So instead of trying to get it right, you can lean on this as your training wheels and start creating change immediately while you learn the step-by-step process yourself. Right? With this tool, you can resolve triggers and patterns, you can choose new thoughts and shift your internal state quickly. It happens all in less than 30 minutes, and it's designed so that you can use it whenever you need, as often as you need. Now, my students have been able to change their values, perceptions, rewrite their thinking. They were able to get a new lease on life. They said it was a mind-opening experience, that a few techniques can alter the world around you, and that it was very eye-opening and totally well worth it. Let's recap. When you join the Mind Medicine Map, you get everything that you need to start creating real, lasting mindset change in as little as 10 minutes a day, including a simple 4-step system to rewire your subconscious mind so that you can become your own practitioner and not have to rely on anyone else, to have guided meditations and visualizations to get your brain into an altered consciousness state where it's open to change. You'll have 20 plus tools and frameworks to change how you think and feel. You'll also have done for you rewiring sessions to move you into action while you learn. Plus, you get 24/7 instant and lifetime access, including all updates. You can have this complete step-by-step framework-driven system to rewire your subconscious mind, or your money back for just 2 installments of 277 Australian dollars. If you join today, you also get my 10-minute daily rewiring plan. You get my quick start activation session, and you'll also get access to a private Discord support group so that you can get your question answered and direct support from me whenever you need it. To get started, just click the Enroll Now button below. You already have everything that you need to start changing how you think. So if you're ready, I will see you on the other side. Take care.